Hello and welcome to Shark Watch Today, our special all about one of the ocean's most iconic predators. You guessed it, the shark. I'm Kerry Sanders. Over the years, I've been lucky enough to cover some incredible stories about these formidable creatures. Over the next 30 minutes, we'll share some amazing survival stories from folks who have encountered sharks in open water. When you think about sharks, the first thing that comes to mind might be the Steven Spielberg classic Jaws, a movie so realistic it actually convinced some people to stay out of the water. But while they might seem scary, sharks actually play an incredibly important role in our ocean's ecosystems.
Watch out, Chris. You got it.
Mary Lee.
Give her line if you have to.
And Catherine are great whites.
It's a female.
We got good water flow in both gills.
Captured.
Lift it up a little. Let's put the accelerometer on.
Tagged with electronic transmitters.
She's a thick girl.
And then released.
Good luck, old girl.
I am ecstatic. They've been bait and switching with us all day, playing cat and mouse, and finally we got one.
For the last 3 years, every time their fins break the surface, scientists with OSearch get a ping revealing locations. So popular is this first-of-its-kind data, Mary Lee Shark now has a big following on Twitter. The Mary Lee Shark family just hit 70,000 followers. Somebody break out the bubbly.
And there she is. That's Mary Lee. That's the famous Mary Lee that everybody's paying attention to right now.
Why are we so fascinated?
Because it's a white shark. White sharks are the most charismatic, and now we're following one, we're spying on one, and she's tweeting back.
Since Mary Lee began transmitting, she's traveled an astonishing 20,207 miles, and Catherine, 13,679 miles. In all, 53 great white sharks tagged and transmitting. But so far, no discernible pattern.
Now we're getting a sense of the scope, at least, of their movements, and they're far more dynamic than we ever thought.
From the coast off Nantucket, south to Miami Beach, and into the Gulf of Mexico, we now know great whites are frequently just yards from the beach. A Pew Charitable Trust study says an estimated 100 million sharks are killed each year by commercial fisheries. At that rate, a third of all the 500 shark species are threatened with extinction, including, some fear, the great white. Sharks have a reputation for aggression towards humans, but when you actually look at the numbers, well, there's very little reason to fear a shark. In 2021, the International Shark Attack File reported only 73 confirmed unprovoked attacks by sharks on a human around the world. But the unlucky few who have encountered a shark have a harrowing tale to tell. A summer of sharks up and down the eastern seaboard.
Oh my God.
This morning, Jordan Pushinsky is recovering after a terrifying incident on Ocean City Beach last week.
It felt like something ran into my legs, and I ran out, and I find blood everywhere.
The 12-year-old receiving 42 stitches from the first non-fishing shark bite in Maryland's history. In a community on Longboat Key, Florida, sharks in the backyard canals.
Sharkland.
Janelle Branauer has lived here for 15 years, but she's never seen anything like this.
There was just thousands of them. It felt like you could walk across the canal on the backs of the shark.
All seeking refuge from a deadly red tide, which saps oxygen from the salt water that sharks and all fish need to survive.
We had a lot of bonnethead, we had a lot of nurse sharks, and then a few lemon sharks. Lemons are like the most aggressive.
In Panama City Beach, this hammerhead chasing fish came frighteningly close to an unsuspecting swimmer before darting away. Surf instructor Atsushi Yamada was bitten on the leg while teaching surfing to kids on Tybee Island, Georgia, a region with 3 reported shark bites in the last 2 weeks.
I feel like I got hit by a baseball bat.
Up north, a string of shark sightings off Long Island.
You saw a fin, you could not mistake it.
Further off the coast, remarkable drone footage as sharks feast on millions of fish. In Cape Cod, the Atlantic White Shark Conservancy confirming multiple white shark sightings.
As we go August and September, that is, when we see some of the peak white shark activity.
The group tracks the ocean's top predators as part of its research and conservation efforts.
White sharks are spending a good amount of time in waters that are, about 15 feet of water or less at times.
As beachgoers soak up the rest of summer, scientists say to remember, risk of a shark bite remains extremely low.
They have no interest in people or anything our size as food. Sharks in our waters are a sign of a healthy ocean.
We're happy to report since our story aired, Jordan's doing great since the incident and recently graduated from 7th grade. Way to go, Jordan. While Yamada has struggled with PTSD since his attack, he's still a surf instructor and says that he is, I quote, still thinking about the shark who attacked me. Since they began keeping shark attack statistics back in 1882, Volusia County, Florida, has been deemed the shark attack bite capital in the world. More shark attacks there, 337, than anywhere else in the world. Experts say it's a case of geography. The sharks like to swim in that area, and also it's where we ran up with Maggie Crum, who was bitten by a shark.
Right there is the stitches.
A 9-year-old Ohio girl has a terrifying tale to tell classmates about what she did on her summer vacation.
I got bit by a shark.
Maggie Crum, in Florida with her family for the first time, was in knee-deep water when she felt something tug at her leg.
It felt like a grab at first, and then it just ripped into the skin, and that's when it hurt and felt like a bite.
Her parents learning New Smyrna Beach is the shark bite capital of the world only after they arrived.
We didn't tell the girls in an effort to keep them going to the water. And we talked about it, and they said, there's no sharks that shallow. There's nothing to worry about.
When Maggie screamed, her mother thought she was faking until
she lifted her leg out of the water, and I saw blood running down her leg. It's like, let's get out of the water.
A firefighter and paramedic, she knew it was no joke.
With as big of cuts as was in her back of her leg, we knew right away it was a shark.
Maggie got 12 stitches.
You can see the circle how big their mouth was.
Already this year, at least 10 people have been bitten by sharks off New Smyrna Beach, including 5 in the last month alone. As for Maggie, this 4th grader has a new necklace, a new scar, and the courage to go back into the water.
Because what are the odds that you're going to be bit twice?
I asked Maggie about the possible fears of getting back into the water, and she said, I'm going to quote her here, the chances of getting bitten by another shark are a big fat 0. Now, when we come back, we'll hear from more survivors, including a father whose swift action likely saved his son's life. Welcome back to Shark Watch. If it seems like the last 2 decades have had an increase in documented shark attacks, that's because they have. Marine biologists speculate that higher water temperatures are bringing the fish closer to shore, which brings the predators closer to the food source and, in this next case, closer to an unlucky tourist in waist-deep water. The aftermath was captured on camera, so we should warn you this is somewhat graphic.
Mark Bowden leaving a Miami hospital, remarkably walking on his own after a shark bit into his right leg. The gash so deep it cut well into his muscle.
It just felt like something punched my leg really hard.
The 31-year-old not so lucky he was attacked, but very fortunate Miami Beach Ocean Rescue was there within moments. Mark's girlfriend holding his leg and hand.
I was super worried.
After several anxious minutes on shore, Mark even managed to make Maria smile.
He made a joke and I said, man, this is happening. I can't believe it.
On vacation from Santa Rosa, California, Mark was body surfing when it happened.
I didn't feel pain, but I guess it was a duller feeling. I've read that sharks' teeth are so sharp, it's like a surgeon's scalpel, that it was just a really clean bite.
Would you say that was the case?
I would say that was the case, and I'm sure a little bit of shock, too.
Brant Davis, visiting from Pittsburgh, was swimming nearby.
He asked me, hey, did you feel that? I did not realize he just got bit by a shark. It happened that quick.
Mark told me he feels lucky he didn't lose a leg or worse.
Afterwards, they were saying it was probably a black tip because they saw some drone footage of some black tips in the area.
Black-tip sharks are common along the coast here. With 3 rows of razor-like teeth, the predators can grow to more than 6 feet in length, often swimming close to shore in search of food.
Did you see bait fish around there when you got hit?
There were a lot of fish in the water. In California, like I surf and swim, and we don't have schools of fish like that. I didn't know that was something to look out for.
For others on the beach, the attack reason enough to go no further than the sand.
It makes me kind of fearful to get in the water. I don't really want to swim anymore. It's kind of dangerous.
I don't think I can stay out of the water. I think at some point I'll be going back in.
Since our story aired, we reached out to Mark, and he says other than being a little more cautious when swimming in the ocean, he has had no long-term effects from the shark bite. Now, after healing, he returned to running his organic tea company, Tea and Trumpets, which he still runs to this day.
Since 1837, there have been 107 unprovoked shark attacks in South Carolina,
to date making it the 4th most likely state in the United States for unprovoked shark attacks, following Florida, Hawaii, and California. North Carolina follows closely behind with 76 recorded attacks. One of those unlucky few was 16-year-old Nick Arthur, whose life was saved by his father's quick thinking.
It started out just like any other day at the beach for 16-year-old Nick Arthur from North Carolina. He and his sister were jumping over waves on a sandbar just 25 feet from the shore on the Outer Banks near Cape Hatteras when Nick started screaming. The family spoke to WGHP.
So I tried lifting my leg up out of the water, and I saw, oh my God, it's a 5-foot-long shark attached to my leg.
His sister swam for help, and their father came to the rescue.
My hands were bleeding, and it was just lots of blood and sand all mixed together. I couldn't really see what was going on. My fingers were all scratched up. I was trying to pry its mouth open.
They were both hitting the shark, but when Tim Arthur kicked its nose, it finally let go. 40 teeth puncture marks on Nick's leg. He survived the attack, walking away with scratches to his hands, stitches to his leg, but no serious damage. In another close encounter earlier this month, 2 fishermen were surprised by a great white shark circling their boat near Ocean City, Maryland.
It's just a massive animal.
Despite their presence, fewer shark attacks have actually been reported this year, according to the University of Florida's International Shark Attack File, likely due to beach closures during the COVID pandemic. There are, on average, 80 shark attacks each year.
The odds, I always say, are really, really, really low.
So far, just 18 documented shark bites have been reported worldwide, with at least 7 in the U.S., including North Carolina, Florida, Hawaii, California, and Delaware. While shark attacks are rare, they can be deadly.
Male with a shark bite, not conscious, breathing.
Just last month, surfer Ben Kelly died from leg wounds after he was attacked by a great white shark just 100 yards off the coast of Santa Cruz, California. As the summer heats up and beaches continue to reopen, experts say it's always important to be within range of someone who can assist you.
No one thinks it's going to happen to them until it happens to them.
For today, Kerry Sanders, NBC News.
So remember, always swim in groups as sharks are more likely to attack a solitary individual. Avoid swimming near bait fish where sharks might be feeding. And remember that sharks are most likely to feed at dusk and at dawn. Coming up, we'll hear a young girl's remarkable story of survival after losing part of her leg to a shark bite, and later, how one mom's romantic getaway turned into a living nightmare. Welcome back to Shark Watch. If you're heading to the beach this summer, you're not alone. Some of America's most popular beaches receive an estimated 19 million visitors annually. Teenager Paige Winter was enjoying a day at the beach with her family when the unthinkable happened. Take a look.
I'm not alone.
17-year-old Paige Winter lost her left leg and 2 fingers when she was attacked by a shark in these waters off North Carolina.
I want people to see that I'm doing all right.
Today, just 12 days later, amazingly upbeat.
When I was in that water, I was like praying. I'm like, I'm 17. I got so much to do.
Today, her dad, Charlie, recounted his fight with the shark, pulling Paige from its jaws.
It was just an immediate dad thing. I grabbed her with my left arm, and I pulled her up over the water. And when I pulled her up, a shark came up with her.
He struggled to shore, his daughter in his arms.
And I don't think I've ever told any of my children I loved them so much so many times.
As a paramedic, he knew stopping the bleeding was vital. Doctors say the two most critical factors to Paige's survival, her courageous father and a belt used as a tourniquet. Paige's nurse says her patient is brave and determined.
She looked at me. She goes, okay, we're going to get out of this bed tomorrow.
Paige remains an advocate of marine life. On social media, her hashtag is "Sharks are still good people." The fight to survive, fueling a teen with an unstoppable attitude.
You're going to be able to do just kind of like everything.
Kerry Sanders, NBC News, Atlantic Beach, North Carolina.
Paige's father says she's been through a lot and is doing great, graduating and heading into the workforce. And he says Paige still loves all animals, cats, cows, and yes, even sharks. Still ahead, a young mom who nearly lost her life when a shark attacked her while snorkeling in the Bahamas. We'll be right back. Welcome back to Shark Watch. In 2017, 32-year-old Tiffany Johnson and her husband were on vacation in the Bahamas. They paid passage in one of those small charter boats to go about 2 miles off the coast near Paradise Island. They decided to jump in and go snorkeling, and that's when Tiffany felt something on her right arm. Here's her story.
And it didn't hurt. It honestly felt like I had bumped into something. I just kind of turned casually to see what I bumped into. And when I turned, I was face to face with a shark.
Within moments, Tiffany says the crystal clear Bahamian waters turned murky with her own blood. But surprisingly, Tiffany told me she felt no pain.
I remember thinking, this is not the end for me. I'm not going to die here. He's not going to take my life.
As she screamed for help, her husband jumped in.
I seen her and half of her arm was gone, so I figured it was a shark, but the only thing that's in my mind was going out there to save her.
Together, they made it back to the boat, James pushing his wife up to the deck.
And I'm just praying at that time that the shark's not following us.
The mother of three, 20 minutes from shore with an arterial bleed that could cause death within minutes, gave her husband very specific directions that may have saved her life.
I was calm. And I told him, go get something, go get a towel. I have to wrap it up.
For her to be able to keep her calm during that whole time, I've never seen anything like it.
I closed my eyes and I just began to pray hardcore prayers.
Remarkably, still conscious, Tiffany made it to the hospital in Nassau for surgery. Behind the scenes, frantic efforts were made to arrange a medevac flight to the Carolinas Medical Center in Charlotte, where Tiffany had another life-saving surgeay.
It's just a limb. I mean, I'm here. He has me as his wife. My kids have me as a mother, and I have my family, and I'm alive. So I'm grateful for that, for sure.
Really a remarkable story. And just a few weeks ago, Tiffany, was back in the water, snorkeling again for the first time since her accident 5 years ago. You go, Tiffany. Now, also in the Bahamas, seasoned diver Jonathan Hernandez was attacked by a shark while spearfishing. He credits the speedy medical attention given to him by his fellow fishermen with saving his life.
I got hit so hard from behind I thought the boat had run me over. I immediately looked to my left side and the shark was right in my face.
This morning, a Florida man is telling his amazing survival story after a terrifying tussle with a shark in the Bahamas.
I was able to get away, kicking away. I looked in the water and I could see that my calf was hanging and gushing blood into the water.
Jonathan Hernandez, a professional boat captain and fisherman, was spearfishing in the waters off Abaco Island when a shark came out of nowhere.
It all happened so fast, it was kind of a blur of white water and fins and thrashing.
I'm going to lift my leg up if you want to just pull the tape off.
An experienced diver, Hernandez told his fishing buddies to quickly make tourniquets out of weight belts.
The fact that the tourniquet went on within 60 to 90 seconds of the actual attack was probably the single biggest factor in why I'm sitting here talking to you today. believe this is his top jaw, and this on the side is going to be his bottom jaw.
His frightening attack happening just days before a California college student was fatally attacked while snorkeling with her family. Witnesses say this is the tiger shark that attacked 21-year-old Jordan Lindsay. A family spokesman telling NBC News they are still in a state of semi-paralyzed shock. Jordan's family now focused on getting her body home to California. Hernandez blames the recent attacks on popular shark feeding businesses in the Bahamas that let tourists have up-close encounters with sharks.
They're associating humans with getting food, and it's making it very dangerous to be in the water, whether you're spearing or you just happen to be snorkeling near where they're feeding them.
Spearfishing, of course, does come with a level of risk because sharks are often looking for the same fish as prey. So a few tips. Always dive with a buddy, avoid murky water, and deposit the fish you catch in between catches back in the boat. Now, another sport with a risk of shark attacks, surfing. From 20 to 2019, a majority of the unprovoked attacks occurred while victims were engaged in activities like surfing, water skiing, windsurfing, boogie boarding, rafting, or just floating on inflatables. Austin Reed was one of them.
This morning, a young surfer is recovering after a terrifying attack.
I thought the shark was about to go into a frenzy with all the blood in the water.
19-year-old Austin Reed seen here entering the water at North Carolina's Ocean Isle Beach just 30 minutes before the vicious predator, presumed to be a shark, bit into his right foot.
It was a lot of pressure on my foot, and it kind of tugged me down.
The grip released, and Austin's friend helped him swim to shore.
We're on the Ocean Isle Beach. We got a shark right here. My mom's a nurse. She's down by him. She's trying to help him.
Austin's mother, Kim, a registered nurse, made a tourniquet out of a beach towel as paramedics rushed to the scene.
My ER brain went, oh, it's just his foot. I'm like, any arteries, he's going to be okay.
Here in North Carolina, Austin's doctors say that those bite marks are consistent with the bite from a very large shark. That would make this the second shark attack here in just over a week.
The first one was just up the coast in Fort Macon State Park 8 days ago.
There has been a shark attack. There's somebody in the water bleeding.
17-year-old Paige Winter suffered devastating injuries to her leg, pelvis, and hands. The severity of the attack ultimately forcing doctors to amputate her leg. And just over 2 weeks ago, 65-year-old Thomas Smiley was attacked and killed off of Kanapali Beach in Maui. In 2018, there were 32 shark attacks recorded in the U.S., a decline from 53 the year before. For Austin Reed, neither injury nor fear will keep him from the ocean.
I got bit by a shark, and it got me pretty good, but I'm still going to go out in the water just because I love to do it.
Since our story first aired, we found out Austin is pursuing a career in medicine and currently works in the same emergency room where he was taken to after his shark attack. Wow. Now, while it may seem like I've covered quite a few shark attacks in my day, the odds of experiencing an attack yourself really are low. According to the National Geographic, the odds of dying from a shark attack are 1 in 3.7 million. To put that into perspective, a person has about a 1 in 15,000 chance of being struck by lightning in their lifetime. So don't be afraid to keep enjoying our incredible oceans. Well, that's our show. We hope you've enjoyed some of these amazing survival stories. I'm Kerry Sanders. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching our YouTube channel. Find your favorite recipes, celebrity interviews, uplifting stories, shop our favorite deals, and so much more with the Today app. Download it now.